Hello, everyone. So, before I continue this topic, let me point out that I have a sore throat, so my voice is going to sound a bit different. Well, technically, I'm always trying to suppress my voice, but this time I really need to because it hurts when I speak. Long story short, post nasal drip, I have it. It's been bothering me for a week now, and it's just getting worse. I am on a medication. I did go to the doctors yesterday. I might make a video talking about it, but anyways, I'm so passionate about this topic that I want to record a video on this. It might be a long video, so bear with me, okay? There might be a bunch of mistakes, and I apologize if I mispronounce anything. But anyways, let's begin. Starting off, a few days ago, there has been a massive boycott on Netflix by a lot of conservatives. I would say leading the charge is Elon Musk. And of course, a lot of people are sharing these clips of woke children's cartoons. Some of these clips have actually been circulating around for years, and I would say some of them are only now getting the limelight. However, however, a lot of people are really angry at this, and I understand. I really do. However, my question is, what are you going to do about it besides just boycotting and canceling? Because I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I've seen enough of this to a point where I know that, okay, uh, not much is going to change unless you actually create the change, or at least you support the change. So like I'm astonished. I can't remember if I've even seen this before, but strawberry shortcake, guys. They got strawberry shortcake. I can't believe it. Okay, they went too far. Okay, people were sharing a bunch of clips. Even the Jurassic World series, Cretaceous or something like that. And apparently there was a lesbian kiss, and I've seen that clip years ago, by the way. So some of these are just resurfacing, and a lot of people are just compiling them up. But my question is, what are you going to do about it besides these things? And here we have someone who I follow, lovely artist. He has done a lot of amazing political art. He has also done work for Razorfist. Okay, so this is a quote tweet, and let's read it. We say Netflix is woke, Disney, Lucasfilm, DC, Marvel are bad, and vow not to give them our business. But we don't fill the vacuum with anything, and they keep coming back. It isn't enough to knock down an enemy fortress. We need to build our own on top and defend it well. The right needs to take back the arts. And this guy, alongside plenty of us, have been speaking about this for such a long time. Well, I would say me right now being a bit more vocal on it, but I knew about this for some time. When it comes to culture, culture is upstream politics, and some people are awakening up to this factor, but obviously a lot of people still don't know this. And this one, I really want to scream and rant, but I really don't want to hurt my throat. But anyways, I'm really happy that people are pointing this out, and even I said I agree, and a bunch of people are sharing their works. But anyways, let's stick to my bookmarks, because obviously if I don't, then I'm gonna go all over the place. So this is the original tweet. Conservatives lose because conservatives on a whole refuse to invest in culture to the level the left has. Until we take back the culture through movies, music, art, education, and everything else, we will continue to lose no matter how many boycotts we conduct. Bingo! Bingo, bingo, bingo. Because for years, I remember people said, okay, I'm not going to support this company or that company. And I understand completely. Even I said these things. And then somehow we end up finding our way back. How? How is that possible? Sometimes we do stick true to our boycotts. Like I have never used a Gillette for such a long time. I don't go for Gillettes anymore. So, at least some stuff I'm boycotting. But at the end of the day, we don't have many alternatives, not just for products, but for, we're talking about culture, so let's just stick to culture. But we don't have a lot of culture, really. That's the issue. We don't have a lot of it to promote. I'm not saying that there aren't any people creating, it's just that we don't have enough of it, and we don't have enough people promoting those pieces of art. That's the problem. So let's see. Okay, here's an interesting reply. And okay, let's just read these three tweets. Conservatives largely just want to be left alone. That's what makes us harder to rouse. And I agree. I want to be left alone. I don't want to care about all of this nonsense. Keep it away from me, right? There used to be the saying that, you do whatever you want in your own bedroom or whatever. And obviously that was meant for homosexual relationships, but obviously a lot of people can really apply it for different kinds of things, really. Oh, if you want to, make something woke, enjoy it, whatever, leave me alone. You can enjoy it in your own house, just don't show me that nonsense. But it's to a point where they have really overtaken a lot of things, from fandoms to different products to different pieces of work. They have rebranded so many pieces of art over the past few years, and the only thing we can actually do is just get angry. And yes, rightfully so, we are upset. However, we don't have alternatives to continue, because at the end of the day, they have so much. And you know the solution is not just get angry about it, but transform that energy into creative energy or supportive energy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so the response is correct, but this position has to die. We've opened up the gate to the enemy, and they want us dead. The introvert in me, most of me, dislikes that, but I do agree. You know, the thing is that yes, we want to be left alone. We want to just to stay within our own little realm and do our own little thing. But at the same time, our realm has really been overtaken. Our sweet stories have become corrupted, and our values have been really weaponized against us. I'm sure some of you guys know how people are getting angry at everyone for the recent past weeks, and they were talking about cancel culture. The same people who canceled us are now talking about cancel culture, and they're holding up your standards, or I would say parts of your standards, at you. But they themselves won't have standards. Okay, let's just keep following following my bookmarks. Oh boy, this is a lengthy one. 5 times August wrote an entire essay. Wow. So, okay, I'm gonna skip some sentences. Bear with me, okay? This Netflix thing is a good example of how bad the right really is at the culture war. I would say that, um, which is it? When people were really rallying behind Jimmy, that really showed us how detached we are technically from monoculture and a plenty of subcultures. Okay, if you'll remember back in 2020, conservatives supposedly canceled Netflix over the film Cuties, and I remember that I made a video on it, and I'm sure many of you guys have heard about it. Some of you guys may have, I would say, softly boycotted Netflix, and it turns out the show was still there until September 2024. So yeah, that's strange. The boycotts did absolutely nothing. It had no effect, I guess. So here we are 5 years later on a cancel binge all over again with the same company. And honestly, a lot of the clips being passed around right now, I remember seeing 5 years ago the first time around. Yes, so some of these clips were circulating in the past, but now it's just being compiled a bit more directly. Everything now feels like, okay, we just got to compile everything and not have it loose. But regardless, people have shared this type of stuff years ago. We know what's going on. So again, 5 years to create an awesome new Netflix alternative that hosts content that aligns with your values, but nothing. And that's the problem. Conservatives, generally speaking, are very poor at investing in art and entertainment, building it up and getting behind it. Rather, they choose to perpetually focus on what they don't like. and find themselves in a 12-month cycle of screaming demonic and satanic a few times a year at the Grammy Awards and the Super Bowl halftime show. I mean, seriously, how many times are we going to keep doing this? I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it because these award shows for these celebrities, they clearly hate us. They're open about it. I mean, plenty of celebrities have been open about it for such a long time. We shouldn't be astonished by this anymore. Okay, we should just ignore it, move on and ignore it, you know. But more than just that, we have to take the extra step and create something. I tell you this as someone on the entertainment side of things, my friends, you got to stop complaining and start creating. If you're going to cancel Netflix, great, fine, totally behind you. If you feel called to do it, but don't just cancel. Replace the bad with the good. Seek it out, share it, support it, and invest in it. There's some great quality stuff out there. There's some really talented artists and filmmakers and musicians and writers out there waiting for you. This is what I said in my first video about culture. Just a few weeks ago, I posted it. I said, people have to invest in these artists, support them, and stuff like that. I said this. So I'm happy that a lot of people feel the same way, because sometimes you'll have people say things like, oh, you know, we shouldn't do anything. I'm just saying, it's like we gotta do something. Not everyone can do everything, I understand that, but even leaving a like on someone's post or resharing it, that's really powerful. Or maybe recommending their work to someone who's really interested in it, or talking about it, doing reviews on it, basing an entire fandom out of it. Okay, creators with a good message for your family, with values that represent you, build that culture. Otherwise, see you next year when we all cancel Netflix again. And okay, here's an interesting tweet. I don't know, they're doing pretty good with Angel Studios. I'm not even Christian or conservative, but some of those films are really good, and it appears to completely align with their values. Still a small startup, but hopefully they'll build on that. I agree on Angel Studios doing well, but there should be 10 Angel Studio-like companies by now, and I agree with this. We should have had, okay, more than that, but still, when it comes to Angel Studios, I'm fine with them doing what they want to do, but I don't just only want, I would say, only religious content. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can have content that's mild on religion or doesn't focus on religion. We can have stuff like that too. So we can't just have only a fixation on one specific thing. We need to kind of broaden up for different types of stuff. I like raunchy types of shows sometimes. And obviously, you're not going to get that from Angel Studios. You really need it from other alternatives. And we need just a lot of alternatives from different groups, really. Oh, look, okay, I'm just, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna retweet this. So, agree. Okay, so, oh, this looks interesting. You know what? I will check it out if I have the money. If I have the money. I say that because I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, guys. I mean, I never knew I was gonna get this bad throat pain. Um, the same goes for this week's NFL cancellation. Yeah, I mean, it just continues. Okay, here we go. Someone else created something. Okay, so let's read this tweet. Okay, I wrote a novel, not even political. It's a literary thriller about identity loss and mental health. The first agent I was talking to wanted me to rewrite it and make the protagonist gay, so it would be an easier sell. It isn't about right wingers not making art, it's about left wingers having captured the industries that decide what art is acceptable to publish. I agree on that statement. Yes, a lot of the mainstream companies have technically become just totally ideologically captured. So, they just want these things and they'll only sell it. It doesn't matter if it only sells to a small group of people because, you know, uh, like romance sells pretty well, but at the same time, I don't think, I don't think gay romance sells as much, but still, at the end of the day, they still demand these things, and it makes you wonder, are they only saying this because they really want to make enough money, or are they saying this because they believe in it, so they have to promote it? I'm not even a right-winger, but I have no chance to have this novel published traditionally because it's not gay, and if I publish independently, no one will read it. Exact same issues in the film, TV, streaming gatekeepers. There are a few outliers, like Angel, but if you're writing something not directly biblical, but with a biblical worldview, then there's no interested producers. There you go. Um, Self-publishing is really good. Is really good. I would recommend that. However, if there's any time and opportunity in which you feel like there's a small gap, you can fit through it and see what you can do. Sometimes, who knows, somehow by luck, you'll find a way to really break that mainstream mold. So it doesn't mean that you have to give up now because the entire industry is overtaken. No, you find solutions, you find ways, you keep going. Okay, so this is another interesting opinion. Yes and no. Conservatives generally engage in avoidance much more than the left. If something displeases them, they're happy not to engage in it. Okay, and this is the thing I want to point out. Yes, I agree, but at the same time, I've also noticed a few people just want it completely erased. Instead of saying, you know what, I don't like this violent video game, but you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to fund a more happy video game. I'm going to support these more cozy video games. And I think, by the way, investors should be focused on all types of games. If you're just investing, let's just say you want to invest in a video game, also invest in cozy games as well, because even cozy games have gotten woke too, just putting it out there. So if you have a problem with something, it doesn't mean that we have to cancel their entire section. We have to just say, okay, we'll challenge it. We'll create something, or we'll fund something that can actually stand toe to toe with whatever we don't like. Here we go. I wish conservatives invested more in games and movies. If you want to influence the culture, then turn the tide. I agree. This is an essential part of it. Doesn't have to be religious. Just stop giving it control to the money that wants to indoctrinate everyone into the ideology of the left. This is something that, I would say I'm happy Grums is talking about, because, he is really into the culture stuff. He understands, so that's imperative. Then you have stuff like this. Conservatives are incapable of creating art, which is ridiculous. So, okay, but let's be real. Republicans in DC won't even hand most MAGA influencers a challenge coin, let alone give them tools or social capital to actually move culture. And I have to say that, politics is something a bit different than culture. Yes, they can help each other out, but at the end of the day, it's like we can't just wait for the people at the top to really say things like, oh, we will fund you. We can't do that. You have to empower yourselves, really. Here's another interesting tweet. And stop trying to fill the void with heavy-handed, cringeworthy B-movies. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to defend these B-movies. Some people genuinely enjoy them. And it's okay. It's okay. They look simple, they look cute. I'm fine with that existing. However, it's not the only solution. As I said with Angel Studios, we need more than just Angel Studios. But the idea of having the quality that Angel Studios uh, produces, I would like that for all types of content, not just only religious shows or bland B-movie shows. I'm talking about actual good stuff too. Where's our Tolkiens? Our Michelangelos? Where's our Newtons? We need to reclaim both the arts and sciences. I agree with that last part as well. We have to reclaim the science because, guys, they took over the science as well. I mean, we knew this, okay? And this is true. It's like, where are our Lord of the Rings? Where are our trilogies? Where are our fantasies, our eye fantasies, sci-fi? Where are all of our, I would say, really smart shows, our classics that we can, obviously once upon a time, what we call classics was never considered classics back then, but it became classics because people kept reading them, they kept getting into them, promoting them, and all that stuff. Bingo. But, anyways, where is all the stuff that we need? Sorry, where are, I would say, all of the high fantasies out there that we really need? The big budget movies, the big budget trilogies, the fancy schmancy over the top fantasy series or action thriller or whatever it is, really. Where are all of those works? Because we could have had a plenty by now. And that's the issue. That's the biggest issue I have. It's the fact that we can do so much more, but we're not doing so much more. And I get it, there are certain problems, which obviously, if we keep empowering ourselves, we will make it, we will grow. Um, and say what you want about the woke TV shows that come out, the quality of them, besides the writing, and maybe some CGI is a bit over the top, but regardless, like these guys still get it out there. They still promote their stuff. They make it and they're proud of it. But we don't have that. We don't have the luxury of doing that all the time, but we should be working on having the luxury to be just making content on the fly, you know? Good stuff, not just slop, by the way. And that's the problem. It's like they have such a massive uh, capture of monoculture that even if you don't like their products, you're still talking about it, right? You're still thinking about it, and you're still watching it at times, right? And then we may not like what they're doing, but obviously, to them, they aren't being challenged. There's no competition. So, anyways, where are our top scientists as well? Because it seems that the entire science field has also been ideologically captured, and we have to really bring science back down to earth. Never thought I would say that, but here we are. We have Tuttle twins. We're doing the same. We're doing something about it. Hundreds of thousands of families are watching Tuttle twins, which is fantastic. Like, I'm happy what they're doing, and they've been out for some time, so that's good. So this is responding to George. You're the only conservative voice I constantly see speaking out about this. There are many people, some libertarians, also speak about this. I agree. I want to be a part of it, but I feel like I don't know how. I'm writing a book, but it's hard when I have a full-time job and Lyme disease. Oh, that sucks. I don't know what that is, but it sucks when you have an issue and you try to write something. It's really difficult. And plus, you have a full-time job. We need good movies, games, books, art, sculptures. We don't need to immortalize our society. Celebrate it. Tell stories. Oh, sorry. We need to immortalize our society. Oh my gosh. I'm reading way too fast. Then we have Ramblings of a Filipino Nerd. When the vocal rights either present slop that also crashed and burned, or peddled glorified moral Gordian rhetoric that wouldn't be out of place last century, is it any wonder no one wants to listen to them or wonder why their woke rivals keep eluding? So yeah, there are talented right wingers doing their thing. Problem is, the vocal ones are in the bubble, aren't supporting them, or worse, view them as a problem. That's another issue. We need to stop getting angry at everything that comes from our side as well. I'm not saying we can't critique it, but I feel like it's like, you know, even if something is a bit raunchy, we don't have to accept it, but we can be like, oh, that's cool. At least someone likes it. At least someone is enjoying it, you know? Um, okay. This is why whenever Roy Hoyd say something, we are winning, keep pushing. What exactly have you won here? Get some woke activists fired and another to replace them. Creating art's just viewed as a sissy fit and unfit for a man by a conservative and with the most loud voice. I would say that. Oh wait, sorry. Let me keep going down. I would say that we haven't won a thing, even though wins we have received, it doesn't mean we won forever. No. Okay, here we go. If conservatives need a good takeaway, it's this. They have to be ready to embrace the notion that prioritizing politics and ideology isn't the all and end all. Let creatives do their thing. So here we have, oh boy, I don't know if I should show this. Wow, damn. And then we have Common America. I've heard of Common America like years ago when I was younger. I don't know this. Let me check this. I'm afraid I might see a bunch of stuff. Um, okay. So, oh, that's cool. I mean, like I would love stuff like this, by the way. Problem is that it's not going to get so much funding, but okay, forget about this. Okay, I know there's a small audience for stuff like this, but what about, I would say, non-religious shows or movies or fantasy or magical enchanted stories? Why can't we really have like millions of dollars invested into that? Okay, is that all? Okay, before the inevitable, but they don't have the same clout as Disney, or they're not showing real conservative values. Comments, do they really have to give people what they'd like to see and they will come? And I agree. You know, it's like, yeah, we don't have the same power as Disney, but we can still grow. Angel Studios came from nothing, and now there's something. Here we go. Here's an idea. If you're a conservative investor, instead of donating to an NGO, political party, or whatever you think won't just absorb your money, try investing in art and culture, fund a project, and especially fund video games. And I agree with this, but I feel like you should fund both. If you have enough money, fund politics and fund culture. Do both if you have enough. So the problem is conservatives think censorship is a way to keep morality while it really isn't. It's true. It doesn't work. Uh, take back the culture, but don't censor. That is it. So, wow, 27 minutes in, my voice is just out the window. I agree with this, and we need more of this. We need more people saying, okay, let's create. What's the point of just not liking it and not finding solutions, finding alternatives, supporting the solutions? Why can't we do that? And today in the morning, I came across a video on my recommended feed, and it was an ad from a for a streamer, and it was basically saying we have wholesome content. I click on it, and they say that, okay, well, I'm not going to paraphrase that. Sorry, I am going to paraphrase them. I don't remember word for word, but they did say that people are getting fed up of the woke stuff, and they said their streaming their streamers is better, and the content they have, I didn't watch the full thing, but I kind of skipped through towards like a few seconds, and then I came across only videos of sermons, and I was like, this is not replacement. And I feel like I have to end the video here to really talk about that separately because it's so long. Have a fantastic day. Bye.